Hi, I'm Sherri Smith, Editor-in-Chief of Laptop Mag, and we are live at CES 2023. And we've seen some amazing things, a lot of which came from Lenovo. But do you ever think about what happens behind the scenes to get that fantastic product from the company to your doorstep? We're going to take the curtain back a little bit and find out, and we're going to ask.
Hi Sherri, how are you? I'm Vlad Rozanovich. I'm the president of North America for Lenovo.
Awesome. So let's get into it. So Lenovo turned out some really interesting products today, at CES, starting with our perennial favorite, the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 11, the YogaBook 9i,
right.
the Smart Paper, and most notably, the ThinkPhone. Talk to me about the ThinkPhone. Talk to me about the thinking behind it, the design, how long it took to get to market, and why now?
Yeah, Sherri, great question. And this is something, it's interesting. As I look at my history over at Lenovo, one of the first things that people started asking me, enterprises, as we went in, and if you think about where Lenovo is today, we are #1 in the very large business space with our award-winning ThinkPad laptops. And we have 33% market share in that space. But when I went into to see a lot of those CIOs and IT executives, they would say, hey, your ThinkPads are some of the most secure devices on the planet. But we're always worried about other devices within our environment. Namely, what about our phones? And some of those corporations didn't even realize that Lenovo actually owns Motorola. And if you think about Motorola, we have about 10% share here in North America. Early on in the conversations, we were hearing from IT executives, especially on the security side, saying, boy, I wish I could actually deploy phones in my environment that were managed and operated in a secure, safe environment where we can build in security levels and manageability levels, just like you have in ThinkShield, in those X1 Carbons and in all of those T-Series and X-Series ThinkPads. They wanted to be able to look at a phone, have a phone that you can remotely wipe. Say somebody leaves the company and says, you know what, I don't want the company's data on that device anymore. And so we put our award-winning ThinkShield security and manageability software on our ThinkPhone. But it wasn't just that. We also knew we had to make this thing really cool looking that people would want. And so we did some really cool things with this phone. Namely, we built it with a Kevlar frame. And so these things are almost indestructible. We actually...
I'm going to take you up on that challenge when we get our review today.
I love it. I can't wait for you to take a look at this. We actually had the IT executive team from one of the largest worldwide shipping companies here. And they actually took note that said, boy, this Kevlar frame of this phone actually could probably hold up in our industrial environments. Now what's interesting is we also knew that ecosystem matters. And when you think about ecosystem, people have a love relationship with their phone. They have a love relationship with their PC. They also want to interoperate seamlessly together. And so one of the things we did with ThinkPhone is we introduced a technology called Think to Think. And what it is via configurations between your ThinkPad and your ThinkPhone, you can now actually access files, the camera, texting capabilities and phone capabilities by opening an app that's a QR code based app that's on your phone that you just take a picture of, you put it on your ThinkPad. Now those two devices are actually interoperating seamlessly. And so you can use that ThinkPhone, say you want to actually use it as a video camera. You can actually use that 50 megapixel video camera as your secondary video camera in addition to the one on the device itself. The other thing is you can actually drag and drop files, photos, instantaneously. And most importantly, if you get a text and you're in the middle of maybe a video chat for work, maybe it's a Teams call, you can actually use your device to respond via text on the application that's actually on your ThinkPad. And so the Think to Think feature was actually something that was really, really important to create this ecosystem of seamless compatibility between your PC and your mobility device.
But the ThinkPhone is more than just seamless cooperation. It's also really big on security.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because there's a lot of really cool features. My favorite is the pin scramble that I feel like, while it absolutely is for commercial use, I feel like that if you get this in the average consumer's hand that this could be bigger than just an enterprise phone.
I would agree, and that was one of the probably the most important feature sets that, or enhancement sets that we wanted to make sure was on the ThinkPhone is how do we create industry-leading security and manageability on this phone? And so one of the things we heard, and it started off on the enterprise side, where there is wiping capability. You know, maybe it's a corporation that has given out this phone to somebody and they say, you know what, that person left the company. There may be sensitive information there. We bought that phone for them. We want that data to never be disclosed. And so you have things like wipe capabilities, you have manageability, you have features like the pin scramble that you talked about that create this environment where it is a safe, secure device. Probably the most secure phone in an enterprise work environment that you can put out there. And like you said, it won't surprise me if this starts figuring out its way into the consumer side of our mobility devices as well.
Like, I think it'd be a good thing. Like, the current competitors could use a little bit more competition. So let's move away from ThinkPad and ThinkPhone for a little bit, and let's talk about yoga, particularly the work with the YogaBook 9i. So not one screen, but two screens. That hinge, that speaker bar hinge that we've seen, that I know I've seen, and I might be aging myself a little bit, but I remember seeing it in older yogas and some of the tablets. Like, what was the thought process with that device?
Absolutely. So the YogaBook 9 is one of those devices that was developed in close collaboration with one of our retail partners. And this is something that this particular retail partner, Best Buy, started asking for. They wanted a premium device to put on their premium shelves that was going to be using the hallmark of what Lenovo is, which is innovation. Show us something that somebody's going to walk into a Best Buy and they are going to say, wow, what is that? And so this is a concept actually that Best Buy brought to us years ago, in the making, and they said, we want you to develop something that is going to just wow our customer base when they come into a store location and look at their premium shelf space. And the first thing we did is we said, if you think about Lenovo and Motorola, we've been innovative. We were the first ones to market with the Razr, which was the foldable phone. And so we saw those concepts, and we actually introduced our Gen 2 Fold this week as well. What's interesting is that's a single pane of glass that's foldable. But what's interesting for this unique YogaBook 9 that we created, there's requirements in the consumer market that are really important, like audio and visual. And we wanted to make sure we put the best speaker system that we could. And we said, you know what if we use that hinge bar as a complete surround sound speaker system? And so what we said is, okay, you know what? Let's create a device that has multiple use cases that could be used in tablet, that can use in multiple parallel screens, that can be tented up where you actually have one thing playing on one side, one on the other, or presenting, maybe it's, you want to show your kids a movie, right? And you said, you know what? Here, watch this, you watch one, you watch another. It could literally be designed and deployed in a way where it has multi-functionality. But like I said, that was a product that was years in the making and years in refinement. And so we're really excited that come the May timeframe, you're going to start seeing that in stores this year.
Can't wait to review that either.
I can't wait.
So, what lessons have you learned about the North American consumer in the time that we've been coming out of this pandemic?
Yeah, great question, Sherri. One of the things I've seen is the pandemic has changed the way we want to work, think, play, learn, and we learned a lot. First thing we learned was that people want access to entertainment, people want access to work anywhere. It's really kind of where hybrid, I almost think we kind of overuse the term hybrid today. We're in a place now where it's work from anywhere, play from anywhere, learn from anywhere. And that's something that Lenovo took to heart. The first thing we noticed is that if you look at the beginning of the pandemic and the commercial side, the enterprise side, things like Teams usage, if you look at where Microsoft Skype was, at the beginning of the pandemic to where Teams is today, wow, that dream, that idea of what, we were trying to get to actually came to reality. But now because of that, what we see is people now want better audio in their commercial devices.
Absolutely.
They want higher end webcams. They want larger screens and screens that are very, very high end, high nit counts and OLED and QHD type technology. So what we've seen is that people want a device that's not just that kind of low end enterprise device. It is really kind of now a device that you want to almost be a creator with, because how many times are we on a video chat nowadays, or how many times do you want to make sure that you look good and sound good and get heard? That's an important part of what the pandemic taught us. Higher configurations. Teams usage is, hey, it consumes memory. What we're seeing is a lot of consumers, not just on the consumer side, but the enterprise side, everyone's opting for better performance CPUs, longer battery life, as well as higher memory count because of some of the applications that are running in these environments.
Okay, so those are all my questions except for this last one. I ask it to everyone. What didn't I ask that I should have? When people watch this interview, what is the one thing that you want them to know about Lenovo?
Well, one of the things I want everybody to know about Lenovo is we are out there innovating for what the next usage model is. When we start looking at the next line of form factors, what are these unique designs that we're creating? One of the things you're going to see pretty soon is things like rollable phones. And I'll tell you, the idea of actually taking a phone and watching a YouTube clip and it actually automatically expands to the right dimensions, that is going to just knock people's socks off. But we're also looking at new technologies like our new smart paper devices with, is there use cases in the commercial world or in the consumer world that actually can take advantage of things like Lenovo's new smart paper devices, which actually creates, it's actually an ESG message all in of itself. Think about how many notebooks people still use. And I saw it even this week. More and more companies are starting to say, hey, let's look at smart paper as a way to actually follow some ESG requirements. One of the biggest things Lenovo, and I really want everybody to take away as a message, is when we think about sustainability, it matters at Lenovo. We look at the amount of new products that we're using recycled aluminum in. We're looking at making sure we have using CPU technology that delivers the best battery life. And most importantly, looking at how do we bring innovation out there that actually benefits not just users, but also benefits kind of the world. So we're here for another day. So that's what I hope people leave CES with from Lenovo this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vlad.
You got it.
Again, I'm Sherri Smith, Editor-in-Chief of Laptop Mag, and for more interviews like this and everything else on the show floor, from laptops to VR headsets to sound bars, oh my, stay tuned.